Good morning, CLC. It's so nice to see everyone. Welcome to today. I'm so happy you're here with us. And right now in this moment, I invite everybody to just enjoy this moment. Let's just take a minute and a nice deep breath. Relaxing in this moment. Put all your worries and doubts, everything, just put it aside for now. Let your body relax. And if you feel so inclined, take another nice, deep, cleansing breath. And as you release that breath, release all stress and tension, all anxiety and worry. Just let it go for now. It's okay. Let it sit on the side. Because right now, in this moment, you should be here, now. Universal love enfolds me. Universal wisdom inspires me. Universal spirit enlightens me. Universal power encircles me. I am one, and all is well. As we begin this inner healing process, let me invite you to relax in quiet confidence, opening yourself to the miracle-working higher power. Now symbolize the unity of your thinking and feeling nature by touching your chest with your hand, and let my words act as your own, for your own inner healing, acceptance, and receptivity. I acknowledge that there is a power, intelligence, and wisdom greater than my own. I am in the midst of it, and it is in the midst of me, sensitive and responsive to my every thought, word, action, and feeling. I now make this true for myself by saying aloud, I acknowledge. Acknowledging this higher power working through my life, I admit that I am personally responsible for solving my own problems while being guided and assisted by something greater than myself. As I am ready to surrender the conflicts of my ego to the wisdom of this infinite presence, I simply speak these words: I surrender. Knowing that forgiveness is the key to unconditional love and the feeling of heaven, I now unconditionally forgive anyone and everyone who has ever injured me in any way, real or imagined. And I now forgive myself for all of my mistaken judgments and their resulting actions. From my deepest level of understanding, I now say, I forgive. Realizing that I continually experience the effects of my own thinking, I now choose to allow this higher power to recreate me deeply, filling my mind with thoughts that are only positive, constructive, loving, and beautiful. I call upon this divine inflow by stating aloud, I choose. I now center upon that one special idea that I'm willing to accept as real for me in this coming week. In visualizing that idea as already acted upon and brought to pass, in seeing my idea become a fact of my experience, I enjoy the happiness and peace of my thought fulfilled and gratefully speak these words. I accept. Knowing that I have an everlasting place in the midst of the power that sustains all creation, as well as the support of all those around me, I allow myself to relax in the peace of fulfillment and gratitude and say, I release. Now, in my mind's eye, I envision the presence of someone near and dear to me. This can be a friend, a family member, a teacher or mentor, someone who has touched my life in deep and loving ways. Someone who may not be physically present in the room with me this morning. I turn toward that image in my mind's eye and say, I'm grateful for the good in your life. Now I open my eyes, turn to the world around me, and joyfully speak to anyone physically present in the room or virtually on this broadcast, and sharing confidence and gratitude and saying, I'm grateful for the good in your life.
Anyway, good morning. Welcome to the conclusion of a series on manifestation, to be followed next week by a series starting next week called If We Will See. If We Will See. And there's a picture of an apple hanging on a tree. And it comes from a line by Emma Curtis Hopkins where she talks about if we will look to the Spirit, if we will keep our eye on the Spirit, we will look within, we will look backward, we will look forward, we will look around. And it's going to draw on this series the writings of New Thought women, both old-time New Thought women that you've heard a lot from me and others here about, like Emma Curtis Hopkins, for one, Ursula Gestfeld, for another, Florence Scovel Shinn, for another, Frances Lord, for another, and also current New Thought women teachers, current meaning in the last 50 years up to still working today, to internalize the idea, yet again, that there is one life, and that life is source, and that life is all the life there is. And that is a point that we hammer on constantly here at Good Old Creative Life and have for, did you know next month we'll celebrate, no, not next month, October, 1st of October, we'll celebrate 37 years as a center. It's pretty amazing. 39 years since we were a study group. And relentlessly, like the coming of the seasons, we revisit the idea that there is one life, that life is source, that life is all the life there is. That life contains all life within it. Part of that life is you. Another part of that life is me. Another part of that life is the unseen realm from which things come, that we've kind of been focusing on this month in the conversations on manifestation. Last week I said there are 3 ways to manifest. One way is to keep doing what you've been doing the whole time. Because we've been manifesting things as long as we've been here. As long as we've been anywhere, we've been manifesting situations, conditions, circumstances, and stuff. We've been manifesting it. That is to say, it has been passing into form via us. That's what manifestation is. It may look to you as the individual like a win. It may look to you like a loss. But in the big picture, what it is things, conditions, circumstances, and so forth coming into form by means of you. Were you not in the picture, they would have come into form by means of somebody else or some other sentient being. But they passed into form through you. And they've been doing these things, the whole time, including long before you knew it, long before you ever heard about it. Because very seldom, even today, does someone sit us down in toddlerhood and explain to us that we are the mechanism by which manifestation occurs in the world. They tell us all kinds of other stuff starting more or less then, that we're able to verbally comprehend. And a lot of stuff subsequently, but very seldom is it explained to us the mechanism of co-creation early on. So, how do we learn it? In a way, you learn it the same way you learn to smoke cigarettes. You hang out with some peers. Say, that looks interesting. You hang out with some older people, some wiser people, and who have happened onto this in some way. Or you run across a book. Or you run across a place. You run across a place like this. And a place like this is a wonderful thing to have. And there should be more of them. And I'm counting on you for that. And future generations to seed more places like this. Okay? So through a book, through a conversation with a peer or wiser person, usually an elder person to you, but not necessarily, or a center, or a church, or whatever name, you encounter this idea. I have the privilege of standing on this stage and conveying this idea and watching people, how do I put this? Watching people get perpetually messed up for disempowerment. That is to say, when the idea is first expressed that you are a co-creator with the infinite, that through your mind, creation is unfolding. When you first hear that, you can never shake it off. You may decide that the book or the place or the people or it isn't for you, and that's fine. That's just your choice, but you'll never shake off the idea. I defy anyone to. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 10 minutes from now, be like, wait, what if I'm responsible for my own thinking? What if I'm responsible for how I co-created the world? What if I had more power than I thought I did? What if I'm one with the only power there is? What if? And it'll haunt you. And it'll haunt you. And I will have done my job. So that's really how it works. We are co-creating, we are manifesting from day one before we know we are. Now that we know we are, we've established that we know we are, at least over the past 3 weeks, we've established that we know we are. Now, what are we going to do about this? Well, we're going to recognize, first of all, that what we're manifesting is coming out of our feeling nature, and that's really about today. And we want to educate ourselves about the feeling nature as emphatically as we have been educated about the intellectual nature. You and I have been taught in the educational system, and God bless the educational system, and God bless teachers, by the way, who are the highest form of life on the planet, okay? In the educational system, whatever type of education you have had facts and figures explained to you, and you've been, basically, the idea's been gotten across that through the intellectual management of information, you will be a success or not. More recently, there's come a body of work on emotional intelligence, but it's not made its way, I don't think, into the school systems yet, which are still debating all kinds of things. But it's about the idea that it's not the information that you have, it's how you manage the information that you have, how you manage the life that you are, that really makes a difference. And they've tracked people long term. They've tracked people, like they've done a study that had started 40 years ago, so they've got 40 years of tracking people to see how happy and healthy, mentally healthy, emotionally healthy, based on factors not genetic and not clinical, you know, but based on more malleable factors of how they do their lives, how functional these people are 40 years in. And I don't have the research in front of me this morning to give you the detail on it. I can find it for you. But what they've discovered is the people who are the happiest, the healthiest, the better adjusted, and also have like things like the fewest ulcers, you know, are the people who manage information emotionally. And when presented with a series of choices, they'll ask themselves, how do I feel about this? How do I wish to feel about this? Rather than what does it all add up to? And this research is confirming ancient practices whereby the feeling nature, the exuberance of the self, was what was put forward as true spiritual experience. Spiritual ecstasy, not spiritual arithmetic. Spiritual ecstasy. That's what we want in life, is spiritual ecstasy. Now you come to a place like this, a guy stands on a stage, says some stuff into a microphone. This is not an ecstatic experience. The ecstatic experience is not really had here on a Sunday morning. It's not really the appropriate container for it. I had an ecstatic experience yesterday. It was only later set to music. I got to give out food to hungry people with some of my sisters and brothers in this center. And that was a dance of ecstasy, let me tell you. If we'd had drumming going on, if we'd had, you know, torches and things, it would have only been, it only would have made it more theatrical, because what was happening right there in the moment was really, right? That was really an ecstatic experience. Now I know 4 times a year we do these things, and on every Sunday, they're always on a Saturday, and so the next day I get up here and I say this, and I see some people kind of like, yeah, well, whatever. I don't want to make you this isn't about you should have been there and you're bad and wrong because you weren't, because the right people are always there. The right people are always there. And it was an absolutely amazing experience of congruence. It had some mystery and magic to it. I got lost, like really lost, it's a long story. Danielle calls me, and she says, where are you? And I said, I have no idea. Then I tell her, well, I found a church. It's not the right church. We had to take stuff to a church. I said, it's not the right church, but it's a church. And here's the name of the church. And she says to me, do not move. We will come and get you.
Yeah.
We will come and get you. But the act of feeding our human family is an ecstatic experience. Okay? The act of childbirth is an ecstatic experience. The act of rites of passage, the act of celebrating feasts and fasts, all of these things are ecstatic experiences. And in this moment of a Sunday morning, of a conversation like this, it's an encouragement into the embracing of the ecstatic experience within the self. Of yes. Let it all come together as a yes to life, as an acceptance of the self and its magic and its power and its society and its community. And what he talks about in this book, Spangler, who last week I called Spalding for some reason at one point, different writer. What Spangler talks about is, he says, in the manifestation of things, look to the communal experience. In other words, do what's right for everybody. Don't just try to suck up what you personally, privately need and then shield it and hold it close and look suspiciously around at everybody. No, because what you're doing is putting into the same mechanism of law as caused you to achieve the thing. You're putting into the same mechanism of law this fear that says, I'm not really entitled to this. Somebody's going to try to take this from me. And you know what? Even if no one does, it'll evaporate. It'll evaporate into thin air. You won't have the experience of the fullness of it if you don't appreciate the fact that everyone is entitled to as much good as you are. No one wants what you have, because there's enough to go around for everybody, and you can trust the system, and you can trust the universe, and you can trust each other. So often we try to game the system. We're kind of taught that, hey, there's a deal out there for you, and you can game the system. It doesn't matter if somebody else is having to pick up the tab for the deal that you have. And we do this in spiritual matters too. I mean, I've seen this happen in New Thought. I've seen it happen in the human potential movement. Hey, you and you alone are entitled to the secret. Baloney. Baloney. First of all, there is no secret. It's a wide open secret. Just because it's not talked about much doesn't make it a secret. It means it's overlooked, it's ignored, its power is underestimated, but there is no secret. Therefore, each of us has the opportunity to be the person we have always wanted to be. Each of us has the opportunity to manifest what we wish to create in the world. There is no intrinsic limitation. There is no intrinsic withholding. Nothing is kept back by spirit. We're just dealing with one law. As I talked about in the first week of this, there's not a law of prosperity and a law of attraction and a law of something else. You got to learn all these million laws. There's one law that has the function of attraction as well as the function of repulsion, right? If you're attracting one thing, you're repelling another. As a function of mental equivalence. That is to say that your idea of something is slightly different than somebody else's idea of it. Maybe it's vastly different than somebody else's, but it's at least slightly different than somebody else's idea, which is why you're here, to have your idea of a certain thing. So when we say the color blue or the looking at this music, it's interesting because in music theory they talk about if you hit a certain chord, it'll evoke a certain feeling. You know, you start right. You start with a D or D minor, and that's how things are. And it goes on from there. And it's like I didn't know that until I started reading about it. And it's so it evokes a certain feeling in everybody, but not the identical feeling in everybody. It just kind of starts with a general mood that comes over us, this piece of music. So we're here to interpret it specifically ourselves. And it brings in the larger question that is a much larger question we have time for this morning about is there really an objective reality at all? Where it just is so, and we all have to learn how it is. Or is it instead a subjective reality that's being made up as we go along, with certain pieces added in that are agreed to, but when the agreement changes, some of those pieces can fall away. See, we all have our stories on how things are and how they got that way, and some of this is attributed to God and spiritual matters and stuff, and a lot of it to science, a lot of it to engineering and physics, and how the earth was created and why it spins the way it does, and on and on. And all of that is like a given. Like in geometry, you say, well, it's given. I don't have to prove it because it's given. I used to do that a lot when I studied geometry. I wrote given, given, given because I didn't want to have to show my work because I didn't know what I was doing. So I just say it was given. The astute teacher says, no, that's not given. You have to prove that one. So I don't know how, you know. We assume a lot of stuff is given that in fact, as it's going along, is unfurling in a certain way by means of each of us. This is why we're manifesting. This is how we're manifesting. So sometimes, like I say in New Thought teaching, it's about you. Now you know this particular private thing. You can be, I hear Steve Martin's voice in my head when I say this. You can be a millionaire. Yes, you can be a millionaire. People are like, they hear blah, 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 millionaire. And like a cat hearing the can opener. Me? A millionaire? Well, you can be. And so what? We have in one of our classes a question buried in one of the weeks of questions. And it says, what would you do if you had $1 million? The curriculum hasn't changed in a really long time. So when that question was first asked, students in the classes would be like, oh, and they'd have a whole list of stuff. Now, you know, the last time we did it, what people say? Well, that's not nearly enough.
Yeah.
It's inflation. I need 10 million, $100 million. It's like, look, which would you rather have? $1 million or $1 million experience? See, that's the thing. My friend, the late great Reverend Johnny Reed, taught here 30 years ago. And in a workshop he gave, I'll never forget this, obviously, which is why you're hearing it from me today. He said, there are two doors. You're in a hall and there are two doors. Some of you have heard this from me 100 times. There are two doors. One door is marked heaven. The other door is marked lecture on heaven. Which door do you open? Right? So $1 million or $1 million experience, $1 million life, you know. And how to do that, how to know the difference, is to ask yourself, if all my dreams came true, how would I feel? If all my problems went away, especially my problems of a repetitive nature, the same thing over and over, went away. If my body were perfectly well, if my relationships were delightful, if I had a career that I loved and I felt I was making a difference in the world, if I had a spiritual program where I felt connected to my source way more often than I did not, and whatever else I'm leaving out, if I basically just had it going on in my life, how would I feel? That's question number one. Question number two is, and this is the big one right here, am I willing to feel that way right this minute, without another moment having passed, without one different condition, without one disappeared symptom, without one more nickel in my pocket? Am I willing to feel that way right now? And if I am not willing to feel that way right now, I'm not ready. And there's no sin or shame in not being ready, but it's a good thing to know. I'm not ready. And I get to ask myself, well, how much of this am I ready for? How much of this can I accept? And if I am willing to feel those ways right now, it gets even better. If I am willing to feel those ways right now, being really honest with myself, not answering this question for anybody else, by being really honest with myself. If I am willing to feel those ways right now, then I should notice that as I have that awareness, my body feels better. My mood is lightened. There's a path that seems to be appearing before me. My relationships are delightful, and I have what I want. And I am expanding this. I am expanding this. If I'm willing to feel those ways right now, I'm already where I want to be. I maybe just haven't noticed it fully, haven't taken stock of it. It's like the last time you look around, you know, it was slightly different than it is now. So either way, I'm either where I want to be, or I'm on the way to where I want to be. And by choosing those feelings and to step into them and pull them around me, I'm actively co-creating something amazing in my life. That's the power of consciousness right there. I'm either where I want to be or I'm on the way to where I want to be. And I may find, one last thing on this, may find that when I ask myself, how would I feel if this and this and this happened? I may hit a dead key, meaning like on the piano, when you have a piano that's in need of work, like sitting in an old pool hall or something, you know. They still have pianos in pool halls? I don't know. I haven't been to a pool hall. You'd be happy to know your minister does not frequent pool hall.
Is there a God in pool halls?
Only because, is there a God in pool halls? Yes. God is in pool halls. And we got trouble right here in River City. And that starts with T, and that rhymes with P, and that stands for pool. You have a dead key on the piano because the string's broken or the pad fell off or whatever, you know. It's like you might have a dead key in the context of asking yourself, how would I feel if all my needs were easily and naturally met and everything in my life, you know, fell together the way I want it to be? And I hit this key and there's nothing. And it's like, I have no feeling around that at all. No, you released it at some point. The thing you used to think was, pardon the pun, key. The thing you used to think was vital to you to be. You released the energy on it. And you've been kind of like watering an empty pot, you know? It's like there's nothing there. I'm not interested in that. I thought I should be a this. My family all thought I should do this. Society all pointed me in the direction of this. And at one time it seemed like a good idea. And I've changed. I've grown. Well, then you can stop focusing on that because it's no longer your passion, and call your feeling back from it. What do I mean by this? Well, a specific thing like, you know, a career path or whatever, but also one that is very common for us is the need for other people's approval. We drive a lot of our choices by what other people will approve of until we don't, until we get healthy enough to where we love and respect other people, but we're not moved around by their approval or the anticipation of their approval, which may have no connection to their actual approval at all, right? Will you love me if I do this? I haven't asked you if you will. You haven't agreed that you will, but I'm anticipating that perhaps you will. You see how complicated it gets? And so there's like all of these different steps that I put between me and my direct choice based on the anticipation of the move that you might make, which is based on the last time I asked you about it, which was 5 years ago, or never. So when we realize that we're no longer at the effect of the approval of other people, we get a lot of power back, man. We get a lot of juice back because we don't have to keep feeding that circuit in life. We can be, there's one or several of you who read David Lisa on our Facebook page got comments from a viewer calling you, a very nice comment from a viewer, each of you, calling you authentic. That's nice. Isn't that great? Yeah, calling you authentic. How do you become authentic? Well, for one thing, you're not driven by the approval of other people. It's not all about how is this going to land. It's about how am I going to send? How am I going to stand in my truth and speak? I could give you a million examples of this. Think of Jesus, you know, at the temple and all, where he didn't look around. What, y'all like what I'm saying? It's okay with everybody here? We never would have heard of him, right? No. You gotta stand in your truth and do your own thing. Anyway, that's the manifestation. The book is The Laws of Manifestation. I said one last thing, but I have to touch base with the book here. Just to say this, where he's talking about you have inner attunement, what is it? Right identification and right imagination. We'll take this into the treatment. Right identification is, how many lives are there? One. One life. What do we identify with? That life. That life. This life. One life. Okay? And from that identification, right imagination, I could think about anything at all. What will I think about? I could feel any way at all. How will I choose to feel right now? Yes, I will honor my feelings, and when grief is up and when depression is up and so on, I will sit with them, yes. But most of the time, you know what? It's an elective. Most of the time I could feel any way at all because it's just, I'm in neutral space. And I could sit there and I could dwell on trouble and loss, and misery and all of this. Not to any kind of fruitful end of coming up with a strategy about it, but just to kind of sit in it and make myself feel miserable. Or I could think about Emmett Fox said, not think about Emmett, you could think about Emmett Fox if you know who he was, but he said in his little book, he said, whenever you're in this neutral space, and you could be thinking about anything, and you trail off into negativity and doubt, you know what he said? Think about God. Think about God. If you don't know what to think about God, don't worry about it. Just think about God. Think about the one. Think about the source. If you don't like calling it God, call it something else. But think about that instead. As a place to then gather and harness that energy within yourself for right imagination, for the right outpicturing of what you want to create in your life. So more on this as we go forward. I think you're going to really enjoy the series coming up with the voices of these different women, including some women surprise you and some you probably never heard of, and things that they've had to share that are useful to you and me today in today's world. So let's know together now there is one life, one power, one source, one presence, one whatever you want to call it. And that one is in me as me. And when I say me, I'm speaking this word on behalf of each one of us here in this room, each one of us watching on this broadcast. And that one in the me that I am is the great I am. The mind that made a star, the same mind I use, the same mind I am being used by. This is my right identification. I am not simply a mortal being wearing a body during a lifespan, accumulating credentials with a name and definitions and descriptions and labels. I'm not simply all of that. All of that is really a minor aspect to me that is caught in space and time. No, the truth of me, the truth of me is infinite, everlasting, and eternal. And as I affirm this and know this, I further declare a specific experience of joy for myself, recognizable to me and those that I love, and the world at large. I affirm and know a particular thing, that as it emerges into physical, visible form, is recognizable by me so that I know that it's the outcome of this word that I've spoken and not just good luck. I claim this good for myself. I affirm that I'm ready to experience it, that I've created a nest for it within myself, out of my feeling nature. I'm willing to be whole, complete, and even perfect in the sense of all-inclusive, where every thought and every feeling belongs. I'm willing to feel this, know this, be this, and perceive this in actual physical reality right now. For the snowing and its manifestation in form everywhere I turn, I am so deeply grateful. I release this word now into the infinite, calling it done, and so it is. There you are. Can I get you anything else?
You know, I was about to say water,
Water,
champagne,
champagne. I
you
actually have
know,
water.
however, that's perfect. Thank you, Jesse. And thank you for a wonderful talk, as usual. I know a lot of us, I was joking with you. I don't want you to bring me water. Thank you, though. Don't bring-
Your kids brought me water when you rescued me yesterday.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm glad. And speaking of yesterday, man, we had a small but mighty crowd. When I tell you, and I'm looking around this room, the people who were there yesterday and you are here today, oh my God. Yeah, can we please give them a round of applause? There were quite a few people who were not able to make it that are usually there just about every single time. We love you. We miss you. We know that you wanted to be there, and we understand, you know, that you couldn't make it, and you'll be there next time, and it's okay. And anyone else who wants to join us next time, especially next time, because it'll be just before Thanksgiving, that is always a really busy one. A lot of people come. Hopefully the weather will be a little bit more forgiving because, man, it was hot. Oh, it was so hot. Oh, my goodness. Yeah, the heat got us. But it was good work. We were doing God's work. And I know there were a lot of people who were very grateful. There were people who were there that had previously been there, that recognized us from our normal location, and they were so grateful that we were there. They always are. So thank you all for helping and doing your part. Thank you for everyone who's thinking about and will be there next time. We truly appreciate you for that. And now we come to giving time. Thank you, as always, for giving of your time, of your energy, of your love. And any and every monetary donation you give, no matter how big or how small, is greatly appreciated. You help us to be here so that we can help you. And so with that, I ask you to join me in saying, divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all the good I am and have, all the good I give and receive. I am prosperous now, and so it is.
But what I want you to know is that I am the most blessed person ever. What? No. from the food event yesterday, because the interactions are very small because they're in their vehicles and we are stuffing that food in their vehicles. So they'll talk to one of two people when they come in, and yesterday it was Melody and Danielle. And then I'm one of the last people that they talk to because I'm the one that takes the number off their windshield. And I will not tell you how many times, I cannot tell you how many times they said, "God bless you. God bless you." So yes, I am the most, but so is everybody else. Everybody that worked that. So I wanted you to hear that so many of those people would say, "God bless you." They would say thank you. And I want you to know that when they would say thank you, I wouldn't respond with "you're welcome." I would respond with "thank you." Because they're giving us an opportunity to serve. We are working for the day that that kind of service is no longer necessary. That is what we are working for. But for right now, this is our opportunity to serve, and I'm going to take it. Every chance I get. So, and some of them were funny too, because when I would wipe the number off, they would laugh and say, "Well, that's the cleanest part of my windshield now." So, it's a good time, and there's something for everybody. You can do heavy lifting or not. Like I said, I wiped numbers off of windshields all day. So if you haven't joined us on one of the food markets, please do. You walk away feeling bright and clear. Bright and clear. And exhausted. And hot. So I'm going to give a special shout out to Neo and DeAndre for the tables, the chairs, the tents. Well, that's why I left the tents till, oh God. That made yesterday so much more bearable. Yeah, thank you, because that really is our hottest one. All right, so now I'm going to encourage everybody to just take a nice deep breath. Just breathe it all the way down. And as you release the breath, relax. Take one more nice deep breath. And as you are breathing in, breathe in that spirit. Breathe in that love. Breathe in that knowledge. And as you relax, breathe out everything that doesn't serve you. And know with me that there is one life, one power, one presence, one love. And each and every one of us are that love in action. We are that divine channel through which that love manifests in the infinite variety of ways that it does into this world. We literally can be the answer to someone else's prayer, and we don't ever have to know about it, and that is the most fantastic thing about it. I know this love. I feel this love flowing through me, and I feel this love flowing through each and every one of you. And I am grateful. And I am grateful for a place that teaches this love, that teaches us that we are divine channels, that we are the answers to each other's and our own prayers, that we are co-creators, that we can make a difference. I'm grateful for a place that teaches that, a teaching that teaches that. I'm grateful for Ernest Holmes for writing it down. I'm grateful for our ministers, our practitioners, our musicians, the technology that allows us to do this here and get to y'all out there. And I'm grateful because it feels good to be grateful. And I'm going to relax into this law, knowing that it is happening as it could, it should, it would, even now. And so it is.
Say it with me now. Something wonderful is happening through me.
Something wonderful is happening through me.
I feel it in my body.
I feel it in my
I
body.
feel it in my mind.
I feel it in my
I feel it
mind.
in everything I am.
I feel it in everything I
I
am.
choose it.
I choose it.
Trust it.
I trust
I
it.
use it.
I use it.
I love it.
And I love
So
it.
it is.
And so it is.
That's so it is.